Hello everyone. So in the previous session we have studied the theorem, Cauchy's integral theorem, right? So in this session let me continue with the corollaries of the Cauchy's integral theorem. So first corollary is same as consequence. So first corollary of Cauchy's integral theorem is if f of z is analytic. So I have already explained the meaning of analytical function. So when f of z is said to be analytical if it is differentiable at the point z is equal to z0 and its neighborhood. Fine. So analytic in the region D and A and B are any 2 points in the region D, then I is equal to integral from A to B f of z into dz does not depend on the path joining A and B. So this is the first consequence we have to prove. Now given that D is one of the region. Fine. So D is a region and A and B are 2 points in a given region. So let me take this as A and this as B. Now we have to prove that they does not depend on path joining A and B. Suppose if there exists a path from A to B and again suppose let me take C1 is a path from A to B, again A to B there exists one more path, say C2. Fine. So this is a complex plane where I have 2 points and C1 and C2 are the paths from A to B. Now we have to prove that it is independent of path, in the sense it doesn't, the function f of z does not depends on the path joining 2 points A and B. In other words I can say we have to prove the path joining between the points A and B is, or else let me say something like this. So we have to prove that f of z is independent of path followed between the points A and B. So we have to prove that integral over the path C1 of a function f of z will be equal to integral over the path closed integral. So closed integral over the path C2 of f of z. So this is what we have to prove. So this is the meaning of independent of path. The path along C1, value of the function f of z, closed integral value of the function f of z along C1 should be equal to closed integral value of f of z along C2. So this is what we have to prove. Fine. So let me take C1 and C2. So instead of writing each and every statement, I'll just explain manually and I'll send you the notes, but you have to listen carefully. Let C1 and you can write in your own words. Let C1 and C2 be the two curves which joining the points A and B, and let C denotes the simple closed curve consisting of C1 and C2. Fine. So this is the simple closed curve and D is the surface enclosing the curve, and C1 and C2 are the path between A and B. So all the statements you can write by your own as you are doing in physics. Fine. Now by Cauchy's integral theorem, what we have proved in a previous session, by Cauchy's integral theorem the statement says that closed integral over C f of z into dz is equal to 0. Now this will be for a closed curve C. Now I am going to split this closed curve into 2, in the sense I'll start with A, I'll move to B, again I should come back to A through C2. But while starting with the point A, we have C1 here. So I can split this as along the closed curve C1 into f of z dz, plus while splitting C2 you can note the direction that it is opposite direction for our movement. We are starting from A, we reach B, again from B to A it is in opposite direction. So I should take minus C2 here. Integral over minus C2 f of z dz is equal to 0. Now since I have a minus C2 here, so you are already familiar with the properties of line integral that you have already studied in your BSc. So I can write this as, whenever minus C2 here I have, so I can shift the minus here so that I can write C2 into f of z dz is equal to 0. Fine. So again I can write this as integral over C f of z dz will be equal to integral over C2 f of z dz. So this is what we have to prove, is in the sense the function f of z will not depend on the path followed. So that is what we require to prove is clear. So I can directly write that from integral over A to B f of z dz is path independent. Path independent is same as it doesn't depend on path. So that is what we have to prove. So this is the first consequence or corollary of Cauchy's integral theorem that we have proved in a previous session. Now let me prove the second corollary, and it says that suppose if C1 and C2 are two simple closed curves in a complex plane D, or let me say in general complex plane is represented by C. So if C1 and C2 are two simple closed curve in the complex plane C such that C2 lies completely in C1, then closed integral over C1 f of z dz will be equal to closed integral over C2 f of z dz, where f of z is analytical function. Now as per the statement, what is the given? That C2 lies completely inside the C1. So let me take the C1 as, so this is C1, fine. So C2 will be completely in C1. So they are both are in same direction. Now there should be a path between C1 and C2. So let me take this gap as A and B. Fine. Now let us consider, I am just explaining the statements. You have to write the same statements by your own. So consider a straight line segment or a branch cut AB with the points A on C1. So the point A will be on the curve C1 and point B will be on the curve C2. So I have assumed in such a way. Then C is a simple closure curve, right? So C is a simple closure curve. So I can write simple closure curve as, you can just look at the movement of the pen. I can write C1 total curve C as C1, the curve C1, plus I'm going inside the curve AB. So I start with here C1, I'll go inside AB. Again, you can look at the direction I'm moving inside. So when I move inside, the direction is opposite. Arrow direction is opposite. So I have to write C2. So fine, I am moving inside C2. Again, I am coming back with BA. So I can write plus BA. Remember, AB is different from BA. Look at the movement of pen once again. I start with C1. I have to traverse. So I'll move inside. So I have written C1 plus I move through AB. Here I have point A to B. Again I have traveled, but here I have opposite direction. So I have written minus C2. Again from B to A. You should not write AB here. It is B to A. Fine. Now I have considered a closed curve C in such a way. Fine. Now let me consider a Cauchy's integral theorem. What is the statement says? If f of z is an analytical function, then I can write f of z into dz is equal to 0. Now this curve can be splitted as this. So I can write the same as integral over C1 f of z dz plus integral over AB f of z dz plus integral over minus C2. When I said integral throughout complex analysis, you remember it is closed integral only or line integral only. So minus C2 f of z dz plus BA. Remember it is BA not AB. So BA f of z dz will be equal to 0. This is from Cauchy's integral theorem. Fine. Again I can simplify this as integral over C1 f of z dz plus AB into f of z dz plus, since I have minus C2 here, I can shift directly minus here, so that minus C2 will become plus C2 f of z dz. Now I have BA here. So when you're going to change the path BA to AB, you have to change the sign. So let me change the sign here. You have plus, so let me change it by minus AB f of z dz is equal to 0. Now plus AB f of z dz minus AB f of z dz cancels. So what you left with? Integral over C1 f of z dz minus integral over C2 f of z dz is equal to 0. Now let me shift. So C1 into f of z dz will be equal to integral over C2 f of z dz, and that is what we require to prove is. Clear? I have just splitted the curve in as per the given theorem or a corollary. Hope so it is clear. Now let me solve few problems on the Cauchy's integral theorem. So evaluate closed integral over C mod z bar dz, where conjugate we can say. So you are already familiar, if z is equal to x plus iy, its conjugate is represented by z bar and it is given by x minus iy. dz, where C is equation of circle. In the previous session only I have explained equation of circle standard form is z minus a is equal to r in complex analysis, right? So let me write a solution. Fine. So we have equation of circle as z minus a is equal to r. Now compare it with the given circle equation. So it is a given circle equation. Mod z minus 1 is equal to 1. This is what the given thing is. Fine. Now in the standard for equation of circle is z mod z minus a is equal to r into e power of I theta. So this is what the standard form of a equation of circle in complex form. Standard form of a equation of circle in complex form is given by this equation, where r is 1. In the given problem, r value is 1. So a value is 1. So I can write this as z minus 1 is equal to, let me substitute a as 1, r as 1. So you will get e power of I theta. Clear? Now z value will be shift this 1 plus e power of I theta. Fine. Now if z is equal to, remember again the basics things. So if z is equal to 1 plus e power of I theta, I can write its conjugate z bar as 1 plus e power of minus I theta. You remember this? If you want, you can put this in a note. So z is equal to, if z is equal to 1 plus e power of I theta, then z bar will become 1 plus e power of minus theta. You should not change minus here. Suppose if you have x plus iy, you can change x minus iy. But when you have exponential term, you have to change the sign of a power. Fine. So if z is equal to 1 plus e power of I theta, I can write z bar as 1 plus e power of minus I theta. Fine. Now let me consider a given problem. Integral over c mod z bar whole square into dz. Fine. So remember, since we are dealing with the circle, so for circle you have to take 0 to 360 degrees. 0 to 360 in the sense 0 to 2 pi you have to take. So for a integral value you have to take 0 to 2 pi. It is standard. Why? Because for a circle it is 0 to 360. So 0 to 2 pi, z bar value I have to substitute. What is the value of z bar? 1 plus e power of minus I theta whole square into dz I have. So you have to differentiate z. So we have z as, let me do here, since z is equal to 1 plus e power of I theta. What will happen to dz? dz will be constant. Differentiation of constant is 0. E power of I theta is I into e power of I theta into d theta. Fine. So go through differentiation. So I will substitute for dz. dz is I into e power of I theta into d theta. Clear? So this is what I have. Now let me write I outside so that I'll get equation as 0 to 2 pi I. I'll just expand the terms here only. So a plus b whole square form, a square plus b square. Square in the sense I'll write this as 2I theta plus 2ab, 2 into e power of minus I theta into e power of I theta d theta. I'll just repeat once again. So a plus b whole square form, I have expanded it. A square plus b square will be minus 2 power of I theta plus 2 into a into b. I have taken outside, e power of I theta I have retained as it is, and d theta as it is. Fine. Now I'm going to simplify it in the next step. See here. I'm going to multiply e power of I theta inside, so that you will get e power of I theta plus e power of minus 2I theta plus I theta will be minus I theta, right? So e power of minus I theta. Here e power of minus I theta plus I theta is 0. So e power of 0 is 1. 1 into 2 is 2. Basic simplification you have to understand. So into d theta. Now I am going to separate the integral so that simplification makes easy. 0 to 2 pi e power of I theta into d theta plus I, you have to multiply for each and every term. So e power of minus I theta d theta 0 to 2 pi again plus 2 into d theta 0 to 2 pi. This is what I have. Now let me integrate this. So in the LHS term what I have? Mod z square dz. This is what I have to evaluate. Now e power of I theta difference I have to integrate, right? So when you're going to integrate, coefficient should be in the denominator. So 0 to 2 pi limits. Again when you're going to integrate, e power of minus I theta divided by minus I, you will get again 0 to 2 pi plus 2 into integration of theta is, I have missed, so let me write I theta. So 0 to 2 pi. I get cancels. Now here no I will cancel, I will be retained as it is. Now substitute the limit, upper limit I into 2 theta, 2 pi, theta plus you have to write pi minus e power of lower limit 0 plus upper limit e power of minus I into 2 pi minus e power of 0 plus 2I as it is, upper limit 2 pi minus lower limit is 0. Fine, simple integration, same procedure I am doing. Right. Now what is the terms left with? Let me simplify. So e power of I into 2 pi minus e power of 0 is 1 plus e power of minus 2 pi I minus 1. E power of 0 is minus 1. Plus, again what I have, since I have minus sign here, so I left with minus here. So let me shift minus here. In the denominator I have minus, so I have shifted it here. So plus will become minus here. Now let me multiply minus inside. So minus into minus will become plus. Now multiplication will give 4 pi I. Hope so it is clear. Why? Because when you integrate, coefficient is minus I, so minus I will be in the denominator, again shifted, so I get cancelled, minus comes here. So when you're going to multiply minus inside, you will get plus here. So that minus 1 plus 1 get cancels. So what you left with is e power of I into 2 pi plus e power of minus 2 pi I plus 4 pi I. Is that clear? Now remember, the value of if you want, you can cancel. You cannot cancel here. Why? Because you have plus sign, but in the powers you have minus sign, in the sense opposite sign, but you cannot cancel here. But remember, the value of e power of 2 pi I plus e power of minus 2 pi I will be equal to 0. When you add this kind of term, you will get 0. So I'll show you how it will become 0. See here, e power of 2 pi I plus e power of minus 2 pi I. So in general, e power of I theta, how can we write this as cos theta plus I sin theta, right? Now e power of 2 pi I will be cos 2 pi plus, in place of theta we have 2 pi plus I into sin 2 pi. Fine. Plus e power of minus 2 pi will be cos of minus 2 pi plus I into sin of minus 2 pi. Clear? Now after simplification, I can write the same as cos 2 pi plus I into sin 2 pi minus, I'm going to take minus outside, minus cos 2 pi minus, so plus into minus, minus I into sin 2 pi. Fine. So plus I sin 2 pi minus I sin 2 pi plus cos 2 pi minus cos 2 pi will become 0. So everything will be cancelling. So when you have terms like this, the value will be 0. But here I am going to apply directly. So I have explained just for your reference. So this term will goes off. Now you cannot cancel here, just for your reference. Why? Because I have explained that. So that is the reason I have cancelled here. So what you left with is 4 pi I. Therefore the value of the integral z bar square dz over the closed curve is 4 pi I. And further we are using this result in further problems. You just remember this. Integral over closed curve C mod z bar square dz will be equal to 4 pi I. Hope so it is clear. Now let me solve one more simple problem. Here is the problem. Evaluate integral over C dz by z minus a, where C circle equation is given by z minus a is equal to r. Anyhow, let me write the given circle equation. And standard equation is z minus a is equal to r into e power of I theta. Fine. So a value, r value will not change. So let me keep as it is. Now z will become, I am going to shift, you will get a plus r into e power of I theta. Now let me differentiate dz. Why? Because I need the value of dz. So dz will be a is constant 0, r as it is. So differentiation will give us I into e power of I theta into d theta. Now I need z bar again. So z bar, is that really necessary to calculate z bar? Hope so it is not. Anyhow, let me simplify the given problem. So dz, if needed, you can calculate. It depends on a wish of a problem. Requirement of a problem. So dz value is closed curve r into I into e power of I theta into d theta. Now what we required is z minus a value. Z minus a value we have already expanded here. So z minus a is r into e power of I theta. So r get cancelled, e power of I theta get cancelled. What you left with? I into integral over closed curve into d theta. So anyhow I is as it is. Since we are dealing with the circle, integral will be 0 to 2 pi. So integration of theta is d theta is theta. So limits is from 0 to 2 pi. I as it is, upper limit minus lower limit. So that will give us 2 pi I. It is very simple. Now let me solve one more problem. So evaluate integral over C dz divided by, I will do for n generalized case, that is z minus a power of n, where n not equal to 1. Fine. If n is equal to 1, previous problem only we will get, right? So n not equal to 1, circle equation is given by z minus a is equal to r. It is for generalized form. Clear? Now let me simplify. So what I have, equation of circle is z minus a is equal to r. It is given, and what we have in the standard form, r into e power of I theta. So z value will be a plus r into e power of I theta. So that dz value is, a is constant 0, so r into I into e power of I theta d theta, differentiation of this. And now let me consider the given problem, integral over c dz divided by z minus a power of n. Fine. Now how can I write this as, so limits I can change here only, so 0 to 2 pi, why? Because we are dealing with a circle. Fine. Now dz I have, let me substitute I into r into e power of I theta d theta divided by, now z minus a value is r into e power of I theta whole power of n into, now see here, just I have substituted the values what we have already obtained. We cannot cancel r and e power of I theta as we are done in the previous problem. Why? Because we have the power n here, so we cannot do it. Let me simplify this. Let me take I outside, so I can write this as I into 0 to 2 pi r, here the power is 1, here the power is n, so I can shift it to numerator, so r power of 1 minus n I can write. Similarly, I can write this as e power of I theta. Now here the power is minus I theta into n d theta. Fine. I have shifted the terms in denominator to numerator, so I have taken in a simplified form. R power n will shift to numerator, will give us minus n. I theta n shifted will give minus I n into theta. Now we are integrating with respect to theta. It is independent of theta, right? So I can take this out of integration sign. So I can write this as I into r power of 1 minus n 0 to 2 pi e power of I theta minus I can take I theta outside. So let me write one more step. I can get r into 1 minus n 0 to 2 pi e power of, I'll take I theta outside, so you will get 1 minus n into d theta. Fine. So when you integrate, what you're going to get, I into r power of 1 minus n. So integration, I'll do it directly. E power of I theta into 1 minus n divided by coefficient I have to write in denominator, right? So I into 1 minus n. This is what I have. Am I clear? Hope so it is clear. Now limits is from 0 to 2 pi. Now let me simplify further. I get cancelled here only. Why? Because it is independent of theta, and r power of 1 minus n as it is. I'll take 1 minus n outside, so I'll write here, left with e power of I theta into 1 minus n, limits from 0 to 2 pi. I have taken the constant outside and I have written same. So what I have get, r power of 1 minus n into 1 minus n. Now let me simplify this. So e power of I theta is none other than cos theta plus I sin theta, right? So I am going to expand directly. Cos of theta, in place of theta I have theta into 1 minus n. Cos theta plus I into sin 1 minus n into theta, 0 to 2 pi. Remember, e power of I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. So in place of theta what I have, 1 minus n into theta, so that is why I have written 1 minus n into theta. Now let me apply the limits. R power of 1 minus n by 1 minus n. Upper limit when you are going to apply, cos of 1 minus n into 2 pi plus I into sin of 1 minus n into 2 pi minus lower limit cos 0 minus I into sin 0. Fine. So anyhow sin 0 is 0, and sin of 1 minus n into 2 pi, whatever may be the multiple, sin n pi, that is sin 2 pi will be equal to 0. So these two values will goes off, whereas the rest of the values, let me simplify. What you're going to get, cos of 1 minus n into 2 pi value is, let me write this term as it is. So this value is 1. Fine. Anyhow this is 0, this is 0. Cos 0 is minus 1. Minus as it is, 1 as it is. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 into anything will be 0. Fine. So everything depends on limit substitution. So evaluation of this integral value will be equal to 0. Therefore I can write conclusion as, therefore dz divided by z minus a whole power of n into dz will be equal to 0. So this is the required solution. I'll just explain once again. So I have considered the equation of circle, and in the standard form I have shifted the value and I have calculated whatever the required data is. Now I have substituted, since I cannot cancel the terms here. Why? Because I have power n. I have shifted shifted it to numerator. Fine. Since the terms independent of theta I have taken outside, terms depending on theta I have taken inside. Now let me integrate this, so you will get this. Applying the limits, before applying the limit I have converted it into trigonometric form. That is, whenever you have e power of I theta, you can write that as cos theta plus I sin theta. So in place of theta I have theta into 1 minus n, so I have written in place of theta 1 minus n into theta. Fine. Apply the limits. Remember, sine of n pi is 0. So in place of n I have 1 minus n into 2. So this value will be 0. Again sine 0 is 0, but cos 0 is 1 and sine 2 pi is 1. So 1 minus 1 will be again 0. 0 into anything will give us 0. Therefore the value of this integral is 0. So this completes the problems on the first theorem. Now in the next session, let me continue with the Cauchy's integral formula. Remember, in the first session I have done Cauchy's integral theorem. There is a lot of difference in the first, before looking at the next session, before you just watch the previous session video. In the sense, first video I have sent the video of what we say Cauchy's integral theorem, whereas in the next session I am going to send Cauchy's integral formula. There is a lot of difference in the statement also. So in the examination they will not give statement, you have to write the statement. So you should behead both the statements and practice the proof as well. Hope so it is clear. Further, if you have any doubt, you can free to ask me. Thank you. Continue in the next session.